Well, good morning, YouTube. Just had a friend of mine stop by here who has absolute operational experience. He's been in every third world country probably on the planet at one point or another. Accomplished marksman, decorated soldier, just absolutely appreciate his service. But while I was here, I'm wearing my gun, he's wearing his, and we get to playing what are you carrying? And he pulls out of his holster a just nice 1911, a lot nicer, Kimber. Nice as one I got sitting there on the right. And then we get to looking and I see what kind of ammunition he's carrying. I said, well, that's kind of odd, where'd you get that? And I actually stole one of his bullets. They're sitting right here. These are made by Hornady. Well, the bullet is. And when I say the bullet, I mean just the lead part that actually leaves the barrel. The rest of it he hand loaded. Which, now you're going, well, big deal, I hand load all the time. And I do. For those of you that don't know, I'm half the video backgrounds you can see my loading set in the background. So what's the big deal? I load all the time. Well, the big deal, and a lot of people apparently don't understand this, including a very accomplished marksman, is that there's legal standards and precedents in the law for carrying hand-loaded ammunition that make it a huge disadvantage to you to be doing that. I can load every type of ammunition I have a gun for, from 50 down to rimfire. I can't load rimfire, obviously, but everything in between, if I've got it, I can load for it. But I don't carry hand-loaded ammunition in my personal defense weapons or my CCW weapons, and I'm going to get into why. Law enforcement, from that standpoint, there is actually a legal standard where they can get in serious trouble for being involved in a shooting where they used hand-loaded ammunition. And that is going to translate over into the civilian world. Maybe not in every case, but I don't want to be the case that it does get translated over into, because I'm kind of a half-breed. I used to be law enforcement, and I'm not anymore. So which standard am I being held to now? To be honest with you, I don't know. What I do know is that I intentionally do not carry anything but factory-loaded ammunition in my personal defense weapons, even the ones in my home, because I don't want some dirtbag attorney, ambulance chaser, that after you shoot Donnie the dirtbag or Karen the crackhead or whoever you have to shoot, even if you make it through the the criminal trial, and the DA says, well, I'm not going to file on you, or the judge says, well, you didn't do anything wrong, poof, you're exonerated. If you look at happen, and I'm going to use O.J. Simpson as an example, not because he did anything right, but because if you look, O.J. Simpson was absolutely exonerated of any criminal doing in his trial. And then the family of the victims took him to court civilly and took everything he owned, right down to his Heisman Trophy, which, I personally think, if you want my personal opinion, I think he did it or he had something to do with it and he deserved it, more than what he got. But that's my personal opinion and it doesn't matter. The point is, even though he did not spend any time in jail after he was exonerated, he lost everything he owned. Because there's two different standards in court. One is by preponderance of the evidence and the other is beyond a reasonable doubt. So, just because you shot somebody and the judge says, yeah, you did what you had to do to protect your life, here you are free. When they do the civil trial, you might not be as lucky. You could lose everything you've worked your entire life for. And that's, right there is just one good reason that you want to carry factory-loaded ammunition. So I'm just going to get into a couple of the different types that I've got sitting here in front of you. I'm going to start right to left just because I'm standing to the right side of the camera. Nothing important. This is 45 ACP. That's actually a Speer Gold Dot. Good defensive ammunition, was the standard in law enforcement for a long time. Used to carry Speer Gold Dot in my 45. Until, well, we'll get to those ones last, and I'll actually move this because we will get to those ones last. This is something I carry in my 380. This is just Winchester SXT. This, actually, and we'll get to the next one here in a little bit, is a different color of the evil Black Talon. As stupid as it is, you know, some of our infinite wisdom, left-wing nut-job liberals that think they're going to, you know, make ammunition safer, or it's time to move on to the days of the kindler, gentler bullet, or whatever theories they came up with. We're stupid in saying the Black Talon, which is actually this bullet right here. That is the evil Black Talon. Ooh. Everybody bow in its presence. It's stupid. It's not Teflon. These bullets were not Teflon coated. The big theory was, well, they're armor piercing. The theory of a hollow point and an armor piercing bullet are exact opposites. There's no such thing, to my knowledge, and I spend a lot of time playing with bullets, there's no such thing as an armor piercing hollow point. Both principles work against themselves. The whole theory of a hollow point is to open up and expand, where an armor piercing round needs to stay together and contain its mass to punch through the steel. But so Winchester, who made the Black Talon, when they were forced to stop making the Black Talon, made the exact same bullet, changed the coating they put on it, renamed it the SXT, and didn't stop production for more than a day or two, I would guess. The next piece of ammunition sitting there is actually a solid piece of silver. This is the Winchester Silver Tip. Law enforcement used these for years, especially SWAT teams. That is pure silver on the tip of that bullet. It will expand, and it is devastating round. The whole purpose of defensive ammunition is you want to leave big holes that don't pass through the human body into a wall and into another human body who you did not intend to shoot. Excuse me. So you wouldn't want to carry armor-piercing ammunition in your gun anyway for personal defense, because your desired outcome is to leave a big, nasty, gaping hole that's very hard to repair and is going to transfer all its kinetic energy into your target. There's also what we call a primary and a secondary wound channel created by bullets inside soft tissue. And the reason why the military does not use hollow points in either pistols or rifles is because it's against the Geneva Convention. What the Geneva Convention tried to do was create wounds that were battlefield treatable. Is whatever your opinion on that is immaterial. Whatever my opinion on that is immaterial. That's why you do not see military law enforcement, or I'm sorry, the military using hollow points, because the secondary wound channel created by a hollow point is typically vastly more devastating than that of ball ammunition. That being said, moving on, here we have a, this is what is that? That is the bonded Golden Saber, is what that is. This is what I carried while I was in law enforcement. The jacket is actually bonded to the lead core. As good as any round I've ever found through the ballistic gelatin up until recently. Very good round. Most all of this, with the exception obviously of the Black Talons, you can pick up at probably Walmart. Well, probably not Silver Tip either. In my 357 I carry typically half jacket hollow points. This is what I carry in my hunting gun. This is where I carry my self-defense gun. I carry this in a lot of things. And I have a couple different versions of it, but ultimately they're all just standard everyday hollow points. What I used to carry in the 357 SIG was, again, the Speer Gold Dot. The again, very, very good home defensive round, personal defense round. Good penetration, not over penetration though. It opens up real good. And then I ran across this. These are Extreme Shock ammunition, and you can kind of see some of the boxes there in the background. And trust me, I do not work for Extreme Shock. I am not promoting their product for anything other than I just want you to understand, with all the time that I have spent learning about terminal ballistics, learning about the true ballistics of a bullet, what kind of damage different types of hollow points do. This Extreme Shock ammunition is awesome. There's two types of Extreme Shock. There's controlled penetration and there's enhanced penetration. The one on the right, which is actually a 357 SIG round, is their enhanced penetration round. There is video after video after video on YouTube of what Extreme Shock does. I bought these first, and it'll probably be the last box of these I buy because they completely defeat my purpose. What this is a factory designed over penetration round. This is the one that, as I can find it, I'm going to buy up all I can. This is the controlled penetration round, where your standard home defense round or personal defense round in a 45 ACP is 230 grain. These are 124 grain, I believe. 125 grain. What that bullet does is it transfers all of the kinetic energy into the target. So